I'm Patrick Bailey with IQlist.com. Today is January 16th, 2021, and in this video I'm going to be fixing my Prusa Mini. The rotary knob on it is not working properly.
Okay, so here's the problem in a nutshell. And I've had this a little bit for several months, but it's gotten worse and worse. Now what happens is this button, this little scroll wheel, is fine. I can click and it clicks just fine. However, if I try to scroll, it's not scrolling.
Go the other way.
And I can go the other way. It's not scrolling. But on occasion, I can, it's been degrading, so I could like kind of twist it. There we go. So I can twist it, put a little pressure on the side. I can kind of get it working. So I can get by, but it's gotten kind of a little to a point right now where it's finally like, okay, fine, I got to fix it. So, you know, there's that. So something about it is not quite hitting the contacts just right. So I'm wondering, I haven't taken this apart, can I take it apart and clean the contacts or solder something and get it fixed so I can get it back working? Or do I have to go replace a whole board? I don't know. We'll find out.
Okay, so here is some of the story after that. So, what I first did is I went out to Prusa printers, and I'll put a link here to one of their forums where I just basically posted, hey, here's my issue, here's what's going on, what's the problem? And this seems to be kind of a known issue. It's happened in the past, especially with some of the first Prusa Minis. And that's not to blame them. Well, it is to blame them because they did something not quite as good as they could. But what they do is when they see a problem, they fix it. So the newer ones, they keep, oh, there's a problem. They keep fixing it and fixing it. So if you get a newer Prusa Mini, you're probably not going to have these problems. Now me, when I got the Prusa Mini, I was fine for a while. And then, you know, it slowly over time degraded. And it kept getting worse and worse. So if you watch my past videos where I happen to be turning the knob, you might notice it not going there. But me, I'm like, yeah, I'll fix it later. I just kind of tolerated it. Now, had I notified them in time, I had a year warranty. They would have gladly replaced it. So I went through. After getting these comments there, I talked to their people, and they said, you're kind of out of warranty. And I was like, yeah, okay. So as a result, I did two things. One, I just ordered the whole part. So I have, well, I got it over here. So I'll put a link up to it. But you can go onto Prusa, and I had to order the whole entire thing. It wasn't priced too bad. I should bring it up now. I think it was $50-$60 delivered. But I had to get the whole thing. But also what I did at the same time is I had to, I decided I will attempt to solder it. Because I was like, okay, this is a failed part in my mind. Why not go for it? Now, my soldering skills are mediocre. And so I'll show, you know, here it is. But here's a close-up of what that is. I took a picture while it was there. My electronic / soldering skills are mediocre. And especially when it comes to desoldering something. I haven't had enough practice. I'm very horrible at desoldering. I need to go practice that some more. So when I was desoldering this, I kind of probably broke a couple of things. But even so, I took another guy and I tried to solder it on there with what was left. I must have not made some connections. Of course, it's not working at all now. So I've kind of super broke it. But if you can look at this and go, oh yeah, if you have good soldering skills and you can go get a flush mount. I didn't actually even have a flush mount knob. I had a similar one that wasn't flush mount. It was a pin through, hole through. See, that shows you how my electronic skills are. And so, yeah. I don't know, if you do what I did and you assume, hey, if I ruin it, fine. Back up. Number one, if you're under warranty, go get a replacement part. They will happily give it to you. If you're out of warranty, assume you need to get a new one. In the meantime, maybe if you have the skills, try to resolder it. And if you fail, you get a new one anyway, which is what I did. So with that, let me go actually get a link to the part for those who may be interested. And also, let's go install the new one because it should be pretty easy. Just installing a whole new one. Okay, parts. So I'll put a link in my show notes directly to the part. But a good idea here is probably know where things are. So if you go to shop.prusa3d, you can go to spare parts. And I think at one point, this may not be the case anymore, but I know I'm logged in right now. But if you weren't logged in, it might not show you spare parts at one point. They may have changed, I don't know, because they didn't have enough spare parts to go around, so they were making sure that you were only seeing machines you could see. But that may have changed. But anyway, go spare parts, go to Mini, spare parts. And in this case, I know it's a more expensive item, so I can say priced highest first and have that show up. And there's my guy. Boom. And I'll put a direct link to this. This one is $54, so it's a little pricey when you consider the whole thing is only $350-ish for the mini. And so shipped, you got to pay some shipping charges. So, hate to say it, I think I spent $68 to get it delivered. So a little bit of a pricey repair, but it should be a simple, easy repair and up and going. And knowing, hey, we're still in an age. You got to spend some money to fix it. You got to spend a little bit of time fixing your printers here and there. But I do appreciate Prusa because they make their parts accessible. They have the parts I can get back to fix this stuff. And they keep trying to iterate their design so we don't have to fix it as much. So I imagine I've had a few repair jobs in this Mini. Nothing different than what I have on my i3 Mark III from before. But I have a feeling if I buy a new Mini today, I think I'd still have some repairs to do, but I bet you my repairs, be cut in half for the number of prints I do. So anyway, with that, let's go fix it.
Okay, so we're going to take this apart, which this is easy because I'm replacing the whole thing. But also if you're trying to solder this, you have to do this too. So first, just got to pull this guy out from there. Pretty easy. And then there should one little screw, one little bolt in there. Just got to get that guy off. And pull this whole thing off. And you're good. Now, if you want to solder it, if you're down that alley, there's actually 4 bolts. There should be one here that I've already removed, one here, and one here. So at all the corners. And so if you're keen on doing that, which I don't suggest unless you know what you're doing. I'm amateur solderer and I mess it up. If you're a good soldering guy, hey, you can do it, but you guys know who you are. Or I guess even if you're a bad one and it's broken, you can always attempt it, right? Knowing that you might have to get a new one, but use that warranty first. Okay, so you gotta let it apart. Oh, I should take this button off. And then boom, now you can access that. And I've resoldered my ugly one on here, so that's not what yours would look like. Yours would be flush. Okay, so now this should be brain dead simple. Get this bolt out of here. And they even gave me a new cable, which makes sense because sometimes the cable could be the problem. Or it could be a problem, so it's nice to do that. So all I gotta do, get that back in there. Push this. Get this back up here, and then get her on. Come on, get in there. If I can get it. What should I knock now? I didn't knock anything out of there. Oh, they may. Did they redesign this so it's a little more? Oh, yeah, look at that. It's a little bit of a change. So maybe I'll see if this bolt will work. But you see how there's a lot more depth to that one. So right there, the circle goes down. I can go down a lot further, and this one's much more shallower. So I can easily show that, right? So I can take this guy. Put them all the way through. I've got that much coming out. If you can see that. Okay, now I betcha they redesigned this, so I may need to go find a longer bolt. See? Womp womp. Okay, let me go find a longer bolt. Okay, here's the original bolt. Here's a longer one I just grabbed for comparison. So hopefully that should work this time. So as you can see, they're always redesigning it, right? So they redesigned this guy. Okay, we got that in there. Hopefully we are long enough now to actually get a bite on it correctly. There we go. That should be good enough. And then we get this guy, plug her in. Easy and simple. Let me get this stuff out of the way slightly. And now, hopefully, we are fixed. If I can find my cord. There we go. So let's plug her all in. Oh, and of course you probably didn't want to plug all that in while it was plugged in to the wall. You probably are okay, but that's when problems happen. So always unplug everything. So now we'll turn it on. And let's see if it boots up. Sink in. And let's see. Oh, it has not turned that nice in a long time. Because I would be spinning and spinning and spinning, or I'd have to kind of pull it to the side to hopefully make contact. I think it was a physical issue, not a programming issue. But yeah, look at that. Boom, boom, boom.
Yay.
Problem fixed. You know, I'm almost $70 into it.
About the present thing.
The what? Oh, that was never a problem.
Oh,
So
okay.
if I go,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
see, that's
Alright, cool.
if that did not come up through the microphone, my wife was asking, what about pushing in? Well, the pushing in always never had a problem. It was always the turning. So, but it's a good idea. Let's test it. You know, yeah, pushing in is working just fine. Of course, if I have problems, you'll hear about it in about 6 hours when I make another video about why it's not working. But I think it's going to work just fine. But I'll go start printing a few things on it. So you always got to fix these. You got to be ready to fix a few things. But hey, we're getting better and better.
Well, the Mini is back up and running and printing again. It's nice to have both printers going at the same time again. I'm also filling with my 0.6mm nozzle again on my Prusa i3 Mark III, and printing some of my bigger carabiners out I've printed in the past. And I'm seeing a huge reduction of time, you know, of course, because it's, you know, a bigger width, and I'm also doing a much thicker size amount. I may do a video of that in the near future. We'll see.